Hello everybody, this is Paul. Thank you for watching today's video tutorial. Today's lesson is going to be on types of fractions. I'm going to be discussing proper, improper, and mixed fractions today. Before I get started, what exactly is a fraction? Well, one easy way to think about a fraction is really just a division problem. So let's think of two numbers. We'll call them A and B. A divided by B can really be written as a fraction, A over B. So the fraction A over B is simply just the division problem A divided by B. Now, there's two important parts of the fraction. There's the top part, which is called the numerator, and there's the bottom part, which is called the denominator. Now, the numerator tells us how many pieces of something we're dealing with, and the denominator tells us how many pieces it takes to make a whole unit. Okay, so now we've defined what a fraction is, and we've discussed the important parts of a fraction. So now let's begin to define proper, improper, and mixed fractions. So we'll start with the proper fraction. And basically, the proper fraction, all that is the numerator is less than the denominator. So the number on top is going to be less than the number on the bottom. So let's illustrate this. One example would be the fraction 3/8. The numerator is smaller than the denominator. Okay, now remember the denominator tells us how many parts it takes to make one whole unit. This circle represents 1 unit, or the number 1. Now the denominator says there's 8 parts, so we're going to go ahead and divide it into 8 pieces here. And of those 8 pieces, we have 3. So the color blue will represent the pieces we have. So if this circle was the number 1, basically this chunk of that circle is the value 3 divided by 8, or the fraction 3 over 8. So let's look at a different one. Let's say 3/4. Here is our unit, and we're just going to consider this to have the value 1. Now, the denominator in this case is 4, so this unit is broken into 4 parts. And the top number once again is 3, meaning that we have 3 of those parts. So we're going to go ahead and color in 3 again. So as you can see from this diagram, the number 3/4 is greater than the number 3/8. It takes up more of the unit. Each one of these units represents the number 1. Okay, so that's a proper fraction. Now, an improper fraction Improper fractions are just the opposite of proper fractions. The numerator is greater than the denominator. In other words, we have more parts than it takes to fill up one whole unit. So let's use an example. We'll say 11/5. That's an improper fraction. The numerator is greater than the denominator. So we'll just go ahead and draw our circle here. This time the denominator tells us that the circle is broken into 5 parts. So we're going to break the circle into 5 parts, and we're going to begin to fill in 11 pieces. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to go ahead and need to draw another circle since we ran out of pieces. We'll break that apart, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw a third circle because we're going to need it. So we were at 5 here, so here's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this diagram represents the fraction 11/5. Now like I said, 11/5 is an improper fraction. Now it's only an improper fraction when it's written as 11 over 5. Now there's another way to write improper fractions, and that other way to write it is the mixed fraction. And so basically from this diagram I can show you what the mixed fraction is going to be. So we're just going to say this is one whole unit, it's full, so it represents the number 1. This is another unit, so it also represents the number 1. And this is a unit with 5 pieces and only 1 part. So there's 1 piece out of 5 here. So the 1 is the piece we have, that's the numerator, and the 5 is the amount it takes to fill up the whole thing. So we have 1 piece out of 5 total. And basically we're going to just add these two together. 1 whole piece plus 1 whole piece plus 1/5 piece is the same thing as 11 over 5. Now we can go ahead and combine the 1 and 1 together, that gives us 2, and then we'll add the 1/5 to that. Now 2 plus 1/5 is really the same thing as writing 2 in 1/5. This is really just an equivalent way to write 2 plus 1/5. And this form right here is basically your complex, or not your complex, but your mixed fraction. So all improper fractions, like 11/5, can be written as a mixed fraction, 2 in 1/5. So there you go. So a proper fraction is basically something where the numerator is less than the denominator, and so the total value is less than 1. An improper fraction is a fraction that has a value greater than 1. The numerator is greater than the denominator. And an improper fraction can also be written as a mixed fraction. Okay, that's the end of the tutorial. Hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial. If there's anything else you want me to cover in math, please let me know. And have a great day.